You all right, Tom?
Yeah, I'm alright.
Sometimes humans say they're all right when they're not. But with 1 in 10 young people experiencing a mental health problem, to really find out, ask twice.
Are you sure you're all right, bro?
Well, actually, there's something which I feel a bit weird. I feel like I want to talk to someone about it, but I'm not sure who to speak to.
Bro, of course you can talk to me, man.
Are you sure? Like,
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to today's Whole School Assembly. I've decided to introduce our assembly today up here on Dartmoor. It's Sunday morning, I'm here with my family and my dog, and this is just one of the things that I do to look after my own mental health and well-being. Today we're going to look at how you can look after yourself, how you can support others, and what we can do to remove the stigma that's attached to poor mental health. Before we start this morning, I'd like you to pause the video. I'd like you to talk to the person next to you, or in a small group, or as a class, about the things that you do, the people that you see, or the activities you take part in to support your own mental health and well-being. You may not do this to support your mental health and well-being, but by being proactive and doing the things that we love can help to prevent us from suffering from poor mental health. Enjoy.
Some of you may be aware that on Sunday it's World Mental Health Day, which is why we're focusing on mental health in today's assembly. After we returned from lockdown, we spent a considerable amount of time talking about our mental health and well-being. Some of you felt that we talked about that too much, which we listened to and adapted our plans for this year. However, mental health and well-being remains an extremely important topic and something that we all need to be aware of. During this assembly, I've got a number of activities I'd like you to take part in. Here's the first one. I'd like someone to write this question on the board. What is mental health? I'd then like the class to contribute and come up with a definition or some examples of what you think mental health is. I hope you found that activity useful, and I look forward to speaking to your form tutors about some of the ideas that you managed to come up with. Being mentally healthy doesn't just mean you don't have a mental health problem. If you're in good mental health, you can make the most of your potential. You're able to cope with the demands of life, and you play a full part in your family, school life, community, and among friends. Mental health is everyone's business. We all have times when we feel down or stressed or frightened. Most of the times those feelings pass, but sometimes they develop into a more serious problem, and that could happen to any one of us. Everyone is different. You may bounce back from a setback, or someone else may feel weighed down for it for a long time. Your mental health doesn't stay the same. It can change as circumstances change and you move through different stages of your life. There's a stigma attached to mental health problems. This means that people feel uncomfortable about them and don't talk about them much. Many people don't even feel comfortable talking about their own feelings, but it's healthy to know and say how you're feeling. It's time for your next task, and this time I'd like you to work independently. The question I'd like to ask you is, what are mental health problems? There are many different types of mental health problems, and I'd like you to try and write a list of as many different types as you can think of. Hopefully you're able to think of some of the mental health issues that you can see on the board. Mental health problems range from the worries we all experience as part of everyday life to serious long-term conditions. The majority of people experiencing mental health issues can get over them or learn to live with them, especially if they get help early on. However, some people require professional help to get the care and treatment that they require in order to live a happy and normal life. I'd now like you to watch a short video from a charity called Mind. The animation explains what mental health problems are and how they can affect us all in different ways.
We're Mind, the mental health charity. We're here to make sure everybody with a mental health problem has somewhere to turn for advice and support. In the past, people thought if you had a mental health problem, you would never feel better. You might meet people who still feel this. Maybe you feel this way about yourself. Mental health is just like physical health. Everybody has it and needs to look after it. You have good mental health if you're able to think, feel, and react in the ways that you need and want. You might need support with your mental health if you are finding the way you're thinking, feeling, or reacting is more difficult or even impossible to cope with. This might be because of things that are happening in your life right now. A traumatic event may affect your mental health in a big way too, even years later. We are all different. Everybody experiences a huge variety of feelings, thoughts and emotions as part of their normal life. But how and when we have them can be really different depending on who we are. Some of us can find these harder to cope with. This can be because of our upbringing and childhood, past experiences, or the things happening in our lives right now. That's why it's important that only you, someone who knows you really well, or someone who is qualified, gets to say when you need help. If your feelings, thoughts and reactions are getting in the way of how you want to live, if you feel things aren't right, if you feel like you need help, you can ask for it. We're not going to pretend it's easy. Mental health problems can change your life, and for some they can be overwhelming. But that's why Mind is here. We're going to face it with you. We'll listen, give support and fight your corner. To find out more, visit mind.org.uk.
Mind is one of many charities that we can use to support our mental health and well-being. But don't forget there's lots of other people you can speak to if you're suffering. Your teachers, your parents, your friends, your family, and here are a list of other mental health and well-being services that can all be found on the DHSB website. And I want to look at some of the things that we can do to look after our own mental health. Up first, we have talking about your feelings. Doing this can help you stay in a good mental health and deal with times you feel troubled. Talking can be a really good way to cope with a problem you've been carrying around in your head for a while. Just being listened to can help you feel supported and less alone. And it works both ways. If you open up, it might encourage others to do the same. It's not always easy to describe how you're feeling. If you can't think of one word, use lots. What does it feel like in your head? And what does it make you feel like doing? You don't need to sit down to have a big, drawn-out conversation. Many people feel more comfortable when these conversations develop naturally. It may feel awkward at first, but give it time. Make talking about your feelings something that you do. Up next, we have keeping active. Exercise releases chemicals in your brain that make you feel good. Regular exercise can boost your self-esteem and make you concentrate, sleep, and feel better. Exercising doesn't just mean doing sport or going to the gym. Walks in the park, gardening, housework can also keep you active. Try to make physical activity that you enjoy a part of your day. Up next, we have eating well. There are strong links between what we eat and how we feel. For example, caffeine and sugar can have an immediate effect on how we feel. But food can also have a long-lasting effect on your mental health. Your brain needs a mix of nutrients to stay healthy and function well, just like the other organs in our body. A diet that's good for your physical health is also good for your mental health. Eat at least 3 meals a day and drink plenty of water. And try to limit how many high caffeine or sugary drinks you have. Try to keep in touch with your friends and family. Strong family ties and supportive friends can help you deal with the stresses of life. Friends and family can make you feel included and cared for. They can offer different views from whatever's going on inside your head. They can keep you active, help keep you grounded, and help you solve problems. There's nothing better than catching up with someone face to face, but that's not always possible. Give them a call, drop them a note, or chat to them online. It's really important that you keep lines of communication open. I have 3 more tips for how we can look after our mental health, and the next one is to ask for help. None of us are superhuman. We all sometimes get tired or overwhelmed by how we feel or when things go wrong. If things are getting too much for you and you feel like you can't cope, you must ask for help. And perhaps the most important thing on this list is to accept who you are. Some of us make people laugh, some are good at PE, some are good at maths. We're all very different, and it's much healthier to accept that you're unique than to wish you were more like someone else. Good self-esteem helps you to cope with life when it takes a difficult turn. You should be proud of who you are. Recognise and accept what you are not good at, but focus on what you can do well. Work out if there's anything about yourself that you still want to change. Are your expectations realistic? If they are, work towards them and change in small steps. Finally, and something that we're very good at here at the HSB, is caring for others. This is often an important part of keeping up relationships with people close to you, and it can even bring us closer together. What can you do to care for the people in your class or in your year group when they really need you? Whilst we are talking about caring for others, it feels appropriate to mention the following concern. Since returning from the summer holidays, I've had a number of concerns raised from students, parents and staff about the way in which our older students have treated our new Year 7s. I know this is something that our heads of year have discussed, but given today's theme, I wanted to ensure that everyone had this clear message. Please watch the following clip, which identifies potential worries associated with starting secondary school. During the clip, if you're not in Year 7, I want you to think back to when you were. Think about how you felt and how you wanted to be treated.
I love being the oldest in school. It's gonna feel weird having to start again. What if I'm no good at making friends?
I really like my teachers. They always help me when I have problems. What if the teachers at the new school aren't nice? Or I can't find my way around?
Excited about going to a new school and all the new lessons, but I'm worried about the extra work, stuff to remember.
Been friends since reception. Now we're going to different schools. Excited to go somewhere bigger, but I will miss my friends.
Couldn't sleep. Scared I'd be late. Don't want to be the new kid. Hope my teachers like me.
Wish I was back at my old school. I already miss my friends. Wonder if I'll like my new classmates.
Alicia, the bus is here. Time to go.
Yes, I know. I won't forget. Bye, Mum. Oh, wait. I hope I'm less forgetful in school. There's so much to remember.
Please let me find a seat next to someone nice. Anyone? She looks as nervous as me. Hi, I'm Eliza.
Feel like everyone's looking at me. Can't see anyone I recognise. Oh no, I forgot my planner in the first week.
You can look at mine if you like. Want to walk in together?
Don't think I'm in the right place. Now I'm going to be late for my lesson. He was nice. Now all I've got to do is avoid Year 11s.
Lessons are so hard. I don't want to be here. Just going to keep to myself. Who will I sit next to at lunch? At least it will be halfway to home time. Albie, you done the maths homework yet? It was really hard. It took me ages.
Yeah, but we've got so much homework to do, and I'm always late handing stuff in.
Talk to Mr. Shah. He helped me work out a plan. Made me feel less stressed just to talk about it.
Can I give you both some advice? Look behind you!
No one in my form seems interested in the things I like.
Sorry to hear that, Alicia. How about trying some of the lunchtime or after-school clubs? You might meet people who enjoy the same things as you.
Guess I could try one. It might be fun.
Well done. And remember, settling in somewhere new takes time.
I'm finally gonna be early for English. Can't believe I used to struggle with direct... Oh.
Don't worry, Eliza. We all make mistakes. Remember when I called Miss Taylor Mum by mistake?
Look how nervous they are. I can't believe that was us less than a year ago.
I know. If I could go back, I'd just tell myself that everyone was in the same boat and was probably just as nervous as I was.
I should have spoken to Mr. Shah earlier. When I did speak to him, it helped me get organised and I worried less.
I found a lot of Year 7 pretty tough. I still do. Finding friends was tricky. So glad I met you guys.
Yeah.
I hope that watching that short clip gave you an opportunity to reflect on your time at the HSB, especially what it felt like to be starting in Year 7. The majority of you are incredible role models and offer our younger students all the support they could possibly need. However, for a small minority who haven't been so supportive, I hope you've had a chance to think about how and why you need to adapt your behaviour. On the screen, you will see our school mission statement. We inspire, we develop, and we support. We must all take responsibility to ensure that everyone in our school community feels happy and safe during their time at the HSB. I want to finish today by talking about the stigma attached to poor mental health. Around 1 in 4 people will experience a mental health problem this year, yet the shame and silence can be as bad as a mental health problem itself. Your attitude to mental health could change someone's life.
What are the first words that come to mind when you think of a person with cancer? You may have thought some things like brave, sick, strong, warrior. What are the first words that come to mind when you think of a person with a mental illness? We commonly hear people say things like weak, sad, violent, unstable, crazy, even looking for attention. This is stigma in action. First, let's define stigma. According to Merriam-Webster, stigma is a mark of shame or discredit. The Cambridge Dictionary defines stigma as a strong feeling of disapproval that most people in a society have about something, especially when that disapproval is unfair. Historically, the stigma associated with mental illness caused mentally ill people to be institutionalized, thrown in jail, or even killed. People did not understand mental illness, so they were afraid of it. While these atrocities have greatly diminished in our world today, stigma is still alive and well in our societies. Here is how we may see stigma today. Many people attribute mental illness as a weakness or character flaw, but the reality is that mental illness is a disease of the brain. People with depression are sick, just like people with cancer. Like cancer patients, people with mental illness are strong and brave because they battle their illness every day, oftentimes alone. But many people refer to them as crazy or unstable. Finally, many people say those with mental illness just want attention, which is untrue, invalidating, and hurtful. Stigma is harmful because it prevents us from opening up to others about our struggles and from seeking treatment. The negative effects of stigma are very strong. The average delay between the onset of symptoms and the start of treatment is 8 to 11 years. We would never wait that long if we had a broken bone or trouble breathing. Lack of mental health knowledge and lack of access to care also prevent us from getting treatment, but stigma plays a large role as well. So what can we do about it? Thankfully, things are improving. Here are some other steps that you can take to be a mental health ally. Be educated on and literate in mental health. This is the best way to combat stigma. Use the right language. Avoid saying things that perpetuate stigma, like, I'm so bipolar right now, or you're so OCD about cleaning, or they're just acting crazy so that they can get attention. Be open-minded. Listen to people who have experienced mental illness, how they have been stigmatized, and how it has affected their lives. Speak up and correct others who do stigmatize. And finally, create a safe and supportive environment for those living with mental illness.
So what are the first words that come to your mind when you think of a person with a mental illness? What can we do to try and end the stigma? Let's all make sure that the HSB is a safe and supported environment for everyone. So after this assembly and for the rest of today's session, I'd like you all to look at your personal wellbeing action plan. This is something that those of you in year 8, 9, 10 and 11 may have started last year, but we haven't had a chance to look at it since. Wellbeing action plans are an easy, practical way of helping you to support your own mental health and wellbeing. Everyone can complete a wellbeing action plan. You don't need to have a mental health problem in order to feel the benefits. It just means that you already have practical steps in place to ensure you are supported when you're not feeling great. Next, you're going to look at what you can do to support your physical, mental, social and emotional well-being. This section includes the 5 ways to well-being that we focused on last year. Try to be creative when thinking about what you can do to support each of the 5 ways to well-being. Think about what you need to avoid to support your mental well-being. Think about past experiences and things that you've done that make you feel worse. And then your potential triggers. Triggers are things that happen to us or challenging situations we face that make it harder for us to stay well. Finally, you're going to create your 1-minute safety plan. This is something to keep close at hand for those times when things seem really hard and you feel completely overwhelmed. Most of you will have started your Wellbeing Action Plan last year, and you can continue that or update it after today's session. For those of you who haven't saved that, I've made a copy for everyone on the Google Classroom, or your tutor will have some paper copies. I have 3 quick messages for you before we finish. This photo was taken at 5 o'clock on Monday evening. Now, you should have been told by your tutors not to leave bags on the racks overnight or over the weekend. Please ensure this doesn't happen. We've had a number of issues where things have gone missing, and we do have people on site in the evenings and over the weekend. So please make sure your bags and all belongings are taken with you at the end of each day. The next message is for those of you that walk home after school or walk to your transport, especially those of you that walk through the parks. As the late nights come in, please ensure you keep yourself safe. Please walk in groups where possible, and if there are any issues, please contact your parents, let the school know, or contact the police. And finally, I'd like to congratulate our Student of the Week. This week has been awarded to Elias Hall for being conscientious and community-minded. You can collect your certificate and £10 gift voucher from your head of year. Thank you all for listening today. I hope you found this assembly useful, and I hope you've engaged with the tasks. You're now going to spend the rest of the lesson completing your personal wellbeing action plan.